Okay, so when we're multiplying a monomial and a polynomial, again, this is exactly what we did last unit, just now we're doing more often. So for example, like last unit, we did like 3p to the fourth times 2p squared times 5p to the seventh. Okay, so we did that last unit. So we had 3 times 2 times 5. That would give me 30. Then when you are multiplying, what do you do with the exponents, guys?
Add them.
Add them. So I have p to the fourth plus a 2 plus a 7. So I have p to the 13th. Okay, so that's what we are doing. We're just doing more of it. So let's start with this piece. It says to multiply a monomial and a polynomial, simply distribute the monomial to the polynomial. So remember the product rule. So the product rule said that if you had, and I'm going to use an example of m's, so if you had m to the 9th times m to the 7th, you just simply added the exponents and got m to the 16th. And honestly, example 1, this type is probably the one that's missed the most because of all these understood ones. So x times x is going to give you x squared. So because we are multiplying, we are adding the exponents. Then we have x times a positive 4, which gives us a positive 4x. Because we're adding, these are not like terms, so that means we're done. That's it. It's as far as you can go.
So that's all we do.
That's it.
So if it's just like x with 2 understood ones, that makes it a x squared?
Yes, because...
So wait, so if there's 3 x's and they're all understood ones, does that make it x to the 3rd power?
Yep, because what we're doing is we're just adding these exponents.
Okay.
Okay? So let's move on to example 2. So we're taking 5m to the 3rd, and when I do you'll see me do like these little loops. I would do the loops as you are actually multiplying, and don't just draw all the loops and then go back and multiply. So watch when I draw the loops, it'll help you get, it'll help you with your eyes and what you're actually multiplying. So 5m cubed times 3m to the squared. So I'm focusing on my coefficients. 15, I have m to the 3rd times m squared. So I'm adding the exponents, getting m to the 5th. Now I'm multiplying it times the negative m. Do not forget that negative sign. So remember that's like an understood 1. So 5 times a negative 1 gives me a negative 5. There's also an understood 1. Oh, I froze.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to shut this down and then restart the window. Give me a minute.
This is not a very good system.
Well, part of it is the image bait that I have. And I live out in the middle of 4 cornfields. So that doesn't help either.
Now I see your picture.
Yeah.
You can see me?
Yeah.
No, picture.
Ow.
You and a guy with a mustache.
Oh, that's my husband. That picture.
Oh, I can see our desktop. Nice cardinal.
Oh, okay. Why?
Oh, wow.
Why is this not working?
What other classroom things could we use to do this?
Besides Zoom,
Yeah.
I tried Google Meets and that was terrible. I tried that. Hold on, I gotta figure out how to share.
We could use Skype.
But you can't see my hand though in Skype. That's the problem.
Ah.
You can do like a YouTube live stream and like it records it.
Why am I not getting? Why can't you see my screen? This is stupid. Where's my stuff? Mm.
The
Yep,
big
this happened
blood.
yesterday too.
What are you doing?
Now, can you see me?
Oh, I can see it.
Okay. Can you see all of it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, here we go again. Okay, so on this one, so remember we have an understood 1 as a coefficient, understood 1 as an exponent on the end. So I'm focused on my 5 and my -1, gives me a -5. Then I have m to the third times m to the first gives me m to the fourth. So on the next one, I am focused on my -7. So just take that sign with it. So 5 times a -7 gives me a -35. And then m to the third power. 5, 4, 3. This is in descending order. I'm done.
I'm having trouble hearing you. Is it just me?
No, it's not.
No, I can't really.
You can't hear me either?
There, right there.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot better.
Okay. So why don't you guys right now try number 5 on your own?
Number 5.
5.
So you want us to try number 5, or you want us to try 5 problems?
No,
Number
number 5.
Okay.
So remember, if you have questions, ask them.
So that would be
When you're done, when you are typing on, there's a Google Forms also on the agenda. So when you are typing in Google Forms, and I'm going to show you how to type in the answer. I'll do it with this one here once you guys get done with number 5. So just do like a quick chat and say done, done, done once I start seeing people that are finished.
done.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
So so we do -4g times 7.
For the first time, you have to do the -4g squared
Yeah, I did that
times the
times
2g.
Yeah, I did that first.
Okay.
And then I got -8g to the third.
Yep.
And then
So we're going to do this here in a minute. So I want you to try this one on your own first.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm seeing most people are done. We're going to go ahead and give this a try. So -5 squared times 2g gives me -8g to the third because there's that understood 1 there. And then now I'm taking -4g squared times a +7. So a negative times a positive gives me a -28. There's no g here, but you cannot forget about the g squared that you have here. So -28g squared. This is it. This is as far as you can go.
But if it's an understood 1, do we? Oh, never mind.
Okay, how did everybody do?
Good.
Great.
Okay,
Great.
I want you guys to try number 11.
Can't see that.
Nope, it's on your paper.
11.
Number 11.
Holy crap. Jesus.
So again, type in done when you are done. Okay, so how is everybody doing? Okay, so I'm seeing lots of
Okay.
done. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do number 11. The biggest thing with number 11 is you just have to keep in mind what it is you're doing and what terms you are focusing on. So on number 11, I'm taking 5r squared s squared times a negative, the negative there, right?
Yeah.
Negative 2r squared.
Mm-hmm.
So just being methodical, like we talked about last unit, I have a negative 10 r to the 4th s squared. Then I'm going to do 5r squared s squared times a positive 3r squared. So again, I'm focusing on the coefficients. So plus 15. And notice that there's some understood ones here. That's going to give me r to the 3rd and s to the 3rd. And then I'm trying to find another color. There we go. And then finally, 5r squared s squared times the negative 4s squared, and you get negative 20 r squared, and then s to the 4th. So when you're thinking of descending order, on these, I would just multiply them as you would see them and then leave them. But if I look at this, this actually is in descending order because you go with the first letter in the alphabet, so that would be my r's. So this goes r to the 4th, r to the 3rd, r to the 2nd. I'm not paying any attention to the s's. So this is my final answer. Okay, how did we do?
Good.
Everybody else? I think you can unmute yourself if you need to.
And
It's all muted.
Everybody do fine?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to, let's look at problem number 22.
Like next page?
Yep.
Okay.
oh,
Okay, so problem 22, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So you got to pay attention. Remember, distributive property comes first because that's multiplication. So you got to pay attention. This is going to be distributed to that. And then negative x, you got to take that sign with it, is going to be distributed to everything here. And that 17, we're just going to bring that down for the ride later on, okay? So I have 4x squared times 2x squared gives me an 8x to the 4th. Distribute again. Don't forget about your understood one. So I have plus 4x to the 3rd. And then 4x squared times a negative 5 gives me a negative 20x squared. I'm going to do the same thing with my negative x. So notice I circled that. The reason why I circled it is because that's one of the most common errors is people not remembering the negative in front of the x. Negative x times x to the 3rd gives me negative x to the 4th because of that understood one. Okay, Austin, you have a question?
Yeah.
What's that?
Would you bring that subtraction sign down to like the next like x?
I don't. The reason why I don't, so what Boston is asking, okay, so what Boston is asking is, after he put down like the negative 20x squared, he wants to know if he should just bring down that subtraction sign. I think that's what you're asking, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't. Because if this were a negative, then what is a negative times a negative?
Positive.
So that would have been a positive sign instead.
So what do you put down?
So with this one, I did a negative, times a positive, that's where I got that negative sign.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah. So if it were a positive, you'd put an adding sign.
Well, it depends on what this is. So if this were a plus sign, so if this would have been like a positive x times a negative, then I would have had a negative.
What if they're both positive and they equal to positive? Would you put an adding sign?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So the negative x times a positive 5x squared gives me a negative 5x to the third. Then negative x times a negative 3 gives me a positive 3x. Then that 17 is just going to come down for the right. So then you got to pay attention to your like terms. The highest exponent I have is a 4. So I have 8x to the 4th minus x to the 4th gives me 7x to the 4th. Then I have a positive 4x cubed minus 5x cubed gives me negative 1x cubed. And remember that 1 can either be there or not be there. Then we have, looks like we have a squared here. So I have negative 20x squared. There's no other x squareds, so then that 20x squared just comes down. I then have a positive 3x and then a positive 17. So if we look at our descending order, it's 4, 3, 2, 1, and then there's an understood 0 there. So that is our answer. Okay? Now, when you start doing the Google form, hopefully you guys have seen that, but on the Google form, when you are putting this into the Google form, obviously you don't have exponents. So in the Google form, you would type in 7x and then your caret, which I think is above the 6. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
7x caret 4 minus 1x caret 3 minus 20x caret 2 plus 3, and then I would put a 3x. Whether you put 3x or 3x to the first, it's not going to make any difference, and then plus 17.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Questions on those? And I don't recall what I said for homework on this. Okay, any questions on those?
No.
Do we have a Google form to do right now, today?
No, the Google form, I would do your practice first.
Okay.
And then there's like either 3 or 4 or 5 questions on a Google form that I want you to try so I can see how people are doing, so then I can come back to the next time and bring, hey, by the way, most people miss number 2 and this is probably why type of thing.
Okay.
So I can
Okay.
have that discussion. So right now, I am going to, let's see, what time is it? 1:36. So I'm going to stay online, and just like it is right now. So if you have questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. And I have the answer key here. Hopefully you noticed that on the agenda, I scanned in all the answer keys so that you can be checking this stuff as you go. But as of right now, start doing some practice. So I go back to the very beginning and do some practice there. And then I can tell you whether or not you have the answer correct or not, because I have the answer keys with me. Okay, so right now I'm going to give you time to work. Whether you have a question via chat or whether you have a question and you just want to say it out loud, either way. Or if you do a couple problems and you want me to tell you if you're doing them correct, I can do that too.